What's up, Facebook? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I am here. Come on in. Come on in. I want to share something with you real quick. Those of you that still up, I know it's late, um, but I thought I'd come on and share something with you um, tonight that's very important that the Lord just gave to me this evening, and I want to share with you and maybe share with you a little bit in depth later on. But I want to share this with you, something that the Lord shared with me that we got to be careful of. So if you're out there, you still woke, just come on in for a few minutes, and I'm going to get out of your way. What's up, Aaron? What's up, man? Big country. Hey, goddaughter, Denisha. Come on in, y'all. Tap on in just for a couple of minutes. I know some of you getting ready for bed or some of you working on some projects, but come on in. I want to share something with you real quick, and then I'm going to get out of your way. Something that's very important that I need to share with you. I want to say this, that it's important for us to know when God gives somebody something that we don't take it and run with it before we understand what it is. And we can mean well to do something, and we can cause some great harm to come because we didn't wait on God, and God gave it to somebody else, and then we try to take it and try to share it and think that we know what God is saying. But many times people want to do things and they really haven't heard from God. And don't try to be somebody else. Be who God made you, and do what God called you to do. Don't try to be something great. Don't try to make people think that you know something that you don't know. It's important when God gives somebody something that you make sure that you allow God to use them to say whatever God is trying to say. Because you can try to say something that God gave to somebody else, and then you can make a big old mess, and you can mean harm, but it is given to somebody else to share. And God knows who to use. He know who he wants to use for a certain purpose, for a certain thing. I want to say this about this Black Lives Matter. We have to be careful. And I shared this a couple of years ago in a Bible study, and some of y'all can go back on my page and search it out. I told people before that we're in a day and time where the enemy is using any and everything. He's using any and everything to get his plan, get his agenda out. Now, we as black people, we have been used a lot. We have been used to do things, to carry out things. And we have to be careful. I said this before. Black women, you have to allow black men to lead. You have to let them lead. Now, if they don't want to lead, you have no choice but to pick up the slack. But it's important for black women, because if you don't, what will happen is that we'll be back in the Garden of Eden again. We don't want to be back there. And one thing about black women, they have so much gift. Their senses is heightened, where spiritually they can sense things that us men can't sense. And so they can be open and vulnerable to attacks from spiritual things that men don't even know anything about. That's why mothers are such great at parenting more than they're the centerpiece in the home to their children, because they can sense things. My mother would sense things and tell me something was wrong when I didn't even know something was wrong, because they have a heightened sense and spiritual. So black women and women in general can be used by Satan because of that gift. Now, I want to say this, and listen to me real good, because this Black Lives Matter thing, we have to be careful. That's why I like to say black people matter, because the agenda of this Black Matters movement is led by homosexual women that's homosexual, that have a agenda behind it. And we have to be careful what we say. what we support. We may mean good. We may mean good and trying to do the right thing, but we got to make sure we're supporting the right thing, because some things are really propagating something else, and it's trying to use a platform to open up another door for something else. This LGBTQ is trying to get its agenda out, and they are using Black Lives Matter. They're using black people, the black race, to really promote their own agenda, and they will equate their own lives, their lives equal to black, and their homosexual agenda is not the same thing. Black people don't have a choice to be who they are. You have a choice to be homosexual. You have a choice to be lesbian. You have a choice to be a drag queen. That's your choice. And I said this before, it's going to turn into a thing where gender parties, we're going to start having gender parties at 12 years old, 13-year-old is going to start having gender parties that I'm no longer a boy, I'm a girl now. It's not going to be a thing where we only have it when a mother is, having a baby and then they revealing the gender. It's going to start happening when they're 10 years old, 5 years old. This Black Lives Matter thing has a homosexual agenda. That's why we got to be careful. People may not like what I'm saying, but it's important for us to know that black people matter. And this thing that's been operated by some of these people that have an alternative motive behind it. Listen, my job is to get the message out. It's not to be liked. It's not for me to say things that people want to hear. But when you are put in a position where God uses you, you're not going to be liked. And then people will try to dilute your message by piggybacking on it and using it. And the devil knows that if he can't beat God, he will join him. And so he would take the same message that God gives to somebody else, and he'll use it and try to dilute it by putting it out there so much that people won't even want to hear it no more. And we have a lot of people that take a message that God has given to somebody else, and they'll use it and try to get popularity from it. But you got to be careful. The Bible said, touch not my anointing and do my prophet no harm. You can't touch the anointing of God. It has to be given to you. You can't anoint your own self. Anointing comes from God. You can't take God's message and try to make it your message. We have a lot of people that's taking God's message and trying to use God's message to promote their own agenda. Just like I said with black people, we got to be careful, black people, that we don't allow people to use our message, what we going through, that what we've been going through for years, being going through police brutality and being looked down as less than a half a human. And we can't allow some other people that has made a choice to live a certain lifestyle, men that say they were born to love another man, or they're attracted to other men and think that's of God. That's not of God. That's your choice. Don't put God in it. If you like another man, just say you like another man. Don't say God made you that way. Y'all don't have to be afraid to say, man, it's me saying it. They can come after me. They can look at me and say, hey, Pastor Jones, let me get in trouble. Let them not like me. I'm saying it. But when another woman like another woman, if you like another woman, that's your business. But don't say God made you that way. That's your choice. And then don't say that you can feel what black people go through because you go through that. No, you made a choice, a decision to make, to live that kind of lifestyle. I didn't choose to be black. I didn't choose. I mean, there's some days where I would probably prefer to be something else. But I thank God that God made me who I am, and I'm proud of who I am. But I'm not. I don't have a choice to get up in the morning and say, "Well, I'm gonna be some other race." This is who God made me. Now, if you are homosexual, God didn't make you that way. You chose that lifestyle. And this movement that's going on now, that's headed by black women, that's lesbian women, that's using this platform really to promote their own agenda. They're promoting their own agenda. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. And we're so busy fighting with each other. We're so busy trying to get the credit. We're so busy trying to be the next Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We got pastors that's trying to be Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And trying to get the spotlight, trying to get on camera so they can see that, look at me, I'm leading this. We don't have to be out front. Y'all, I know I'm going everywhere, but I just came on here because the Lord just put in my spirit to come on here tonight to share with y'all. We have to wake up. And this thing that the Supreme Court legislated today was a slap in the face to God. That was a slap in the face to God. That somebody that chooses a lifestyle should have the same equality as somebody else that's born in a certain way. You go back in history, every nation that was great, their fall was because of homosexuality. You go look it up. Rome, Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah. And America is falling in the same footsteps as some of these other great nations that's going after everything that God is abomination before God. It's time for us. No longer after tonight, when God revealed this to me tonight, Black Lives Matter, I said, Lord, I won't use that no more. Black people matter. Black people matter. I'll use that. I'm not going to use something that somebody else who's not even living according to God's standard. And I'm not even saying about being saved. You don't have to be saved to do something good. But when somebody is taking a lifestyle that's contrary to what God says, I can't follow that. I don't want to be associated with that. We got to find out whose side are you on tonight. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side where the majority, where everybody else is saying, this is, we all gonna join together? I can't join together for something that's not right in God's eye. I even as a black person, if it's not right in God's eyes, I don't care as a black people. I can't get with something that God won't get with. Somebody had a song said, if God ain't in, I don't want it. And we can think that is so right, but it can be so wrong. Because it's God is the one that judges. People say, don't judge me. Well, God judged this a long time ago. It's already been judged. It's time for us to really know what we're in, y'all. We can't just jump into something. Just can't jump in and think that, okay, this sounds good. Do your research behind stuff. I don't care what it is. I mean, we don't do no kind of research. And that's in every aspect of life. Marriages, we wouldn't have divorces if people would do their research on the other person. We wouldn't be on jobs that we can't stand if we would have did our research before we even accepted a job. We wouldn't be hurt in church if we did our research on the church before we joined. Then we want to say we hurt, but it's our own fault because we didn't do research. Do research. Do research before you buy a car. So why are we supporting something that's not even lining up with what God says is the right way? Now, if I was on here cussing and swearing, if I was on here, talking about, I'm about to go to the club or have my Hennessy, this thing would have been lit up. I mean, it would have had so many views. If I had just had a party going on tonight and I had my Cavassier here, my vodka and orange juice, this man, I would have so many views. If I was just cussing, people just like mess. They don't want to hear the truth. They'll run from the truth, but they like mess. But it's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to wake up and stop joining with everything. Stop getting with everything. I can't get with everybody. Everybody that say they love God. Even Jesus said, there's going to be many people come to me in that day and say, Lord, Lord. And he going to say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. You was with the wrong thing. You were with something that I wasn't with. Just because something got church on it, something got God's name on it, don't mean God is with it. So we as black people can't just think, everything that has black on it just mean that it's right. If God said there's something that has his name on it, he didn't even put his name on there, then how are we as black people going to follow anything that have black on it? Everybody say they love God, don't love him. Everybody that's marching and protesting is not with the program. And y'all look and you find out there's a lot of people that's marching and protesting, and they're finding out the ones that's breaking windows and doing damage and looting are not even with the protest. They're like pushing and trying to make something that's not there. The people that's marching, that's really into it, protesting, they peacefully marching, and then you got people that's sneaking and busting out windows. I'm telling you, there's something behind this. And if we ain't careful, we're going to get used again. We're going to get used again to promote something else. Because the only thing that's changing right now is the LGBTQ. They done got their laws passed and we still protesting. Ain't nothing happened. Because the agenda, there's an agenda behind it. What they were really protesting was to really get their other agenda in. It's time to wake up. Not a lot of people ain't gonna listen to this. We're gonna go back to our old same old. Well, you dividing us as black people. You dividing us. We're trying to come together. We gotta come together right. We can't just say because we come together. I mean, y'all, listen. When you talk to a doctor, he's going to talk about medicine. You talk to a lawyer, he's going to talk about the law. Talk to a preacher, he's going to talk about God. He's going to talk about the church. Look at churches. They come together every Sunday. And it's not for God. God is not getting the glory out of a lot of these churches. It's somebody else getting the glory. The praise team getting the glory. The musicians getting the glory. You work hard on your job. I don't care how many hours you put in. Somebody else getting the glory for that. Ain't we tired of somebody else getting the glory? Besides God. God want to help us. God want to make a way. God want to open up doors for us black people. God want to open up a door for us black people. But we got to get out of our own way. We got to get out our own way. I don't care how many plans you come up with. Until we get a change of heart, till we change our heart, we're going to be going around and around in circles. Care how many protests we march. If we don't have a change of heart, how we treat one another, we're going to have the same old. Nobody else going to treat us right until we start treating each other right. Well, they gotta do this. When are we gonna stop talking about they and talk about us? Gotta change us first. We come together. Lord, change our hearts. Change our hearts, God. Change our hearts. Change our hearts. Change our hearts. Change your heart, your mind to follow. Change your heart, your actions to follow. Change your heart, your eyes to see different. Change your heart, you'll start walking different. Today, y'all, we need help today. We're getting hijacked. We're getting hijacked. We as black people getting hijacked. The spotlight been hijacked by the LGBTQ. They hijacked the spotlight. They seen a way that they can get their agenda passed. And they use this time when black men are being gunned down like dogs in the street. And what do you see? The LGBT. Oh, we going through the same thing. We know the plight. No, you don't know what I go through as a black man, because you're going to wake up. You're going to wake up and be something different the next day. I wake up in the same skin. You wake up with your wrist bent, you can stop that. You can straighten out your wrist. I can't straighten out what color in my skin. Neither do I want to. Thank God for who I am. Black men stand up and lead. And then we won't have all these women that have to lead. Black men, where y'all at? We're going right back to the Garden of Eden, where women are leading again. Because us black men want to sit at home. We don't want to work. We don't want to love one woman. We want more than one. But black women, y'all got to get out the way. Let them lead. Quit going to the door and answer. Let him get up and go and answer the door. If he's going to lead, let him lead. If he's not going to lead, then quit babying him. Help us. Help us, Lord. Help us, Lord. Y'all, I'm sorry. I came on so late, and I'm not sorry for what I'm saying, because I know this is what the Lord wants me to say. And whether somebody hear it now, or maybe you hear it later, or maybe you just won't hear it, maybe you just block me. I need more people to block me, so it make room for somebody else. I only can have so many friends on here. I need some people to just go on. I'm blocking that crazy, funny-looking guy. I'm blocking him. Thank the Lord. Somebody else will get the word. Somebody else, what you throw away, somebody else will treasure. What you don't want to hear, somebody else will be glad to hear. What you close your ear to, somebody will open their ears and be glad to receive what God is saying to them. You just get out of the way. We got too many people in the way. If you don't want to do right, get out the way and let somebody else do right. Quit trying to stop God speaking to somebody else because you won't hear. Hallelujah. We got too many people in the way. We need some people that stand up for God. Stand up for God. In the process of protesting for black people, let's stand up for God. Nobody's been mistreated more than God has. He's been mistreated more. He has done so much for everybody. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Nobody has been more mistreated than Jesus Christ. Can you imagine that you giving people breath in their body, and then they turn around with that breath and they curse God? They turn around and say there is no God. They turn around and say God made a mistake and made me a woman when I should be a man. Oh, Jesus. Well, look, I ain't afraid of these people. Y'all be afraid of them. I'm not afraid of them. Or they'll mess up your name. Listen, the one that gave me a name, he has a name above all names. He's the King of Kings. I'm not afraid of the LGBT or somebody cutting me off or take me off of Facebook. Because I'm worried about the life hereafter. I'm worried about my Father, him being represented. We need more people to stand up. Quit saying you love God with your lips and prove it. Let's prove it. Quit saying we love God with our lips, and then we won't stand out in the street corner and say, for God I live and for God I die. There's only one way to heaven. You got to die to get there. And we look at all these prophets and these apostles, they had to give up something to follow Christ. You're going to have to give up some things to follow Christ. But if we're going to protest in the streets, let's protest also for God. Let's do it the right way. Let's don't support this homosexuality, this movement. And as I said before, those of you, when God gives somebody something, he gives somebody something, let them share what God has given them. Don't try to take the message. Don't try to take the message God given to somebody else and try to use it for your own purpose. Let God use who he wants to use. Don't make God use you. When God get ready to use you, he'll tell you, I got something for you. But don't try to take somebody else's message. Then you mess up everything. Then you hurt somebody else that could have been helped by somebody else. But the devil's agenda is to overwater us. He wants to overwater. He wants to overwater. He wants us to overwater people. He wants us to overwater people when we need to move on to somebody else. And we killing people by overwatering the same people. Overwatering the same people. Move on to somebody else. And then the devil wants to overwater. He wants the same message to go over when it should be somebody else sharing this message. God giving somebody else this message over here. He's using this person to talk about love. He's using this person talking about forgiveness. Hallelujah. Oh, I thank God. Now, I'm not a pastor of a church. I'm a pastor. I'm a virtual pastor now. I can say things now that pastors that pastoring church can't say, that they want to say they can't say. I can say whatever God give me to say now, without no regard. You got to worry about people holding their tithes and offering. I can just tell the truth and let the chips fly where they may. Could have did it then, but you have, as a pastor, you have to make sure you covering the sheep and you watching how you deal with the sheep. But as evangelists, you can just let the chips fly where they may. Because a man without any followers, a pastor without any followers, is just a man taking a walk. And I thank God for this position. Y'all, I'm just encouraging y'all. Be careful about this Black Lives Matter. Be careful. Be careful. This thing has an agenda behind it. Change it up. You ain't got to say what everybody else tell you to say. I ain't got to say what everybody else tell me to say. Black Lives Matter. I can say black people matter. I can say colored people matter. I ain't got to say what everybody... You don't have to tell me what to say. I say what God give me to say. And these leaders, I don't know these women's names, that homosexuals that's leading this Black Lives Matter. And they got their own agenda going on. Got their own agenda, and we supporting it. Black Lives Matter. Come on, let God lead you. Let God tell you what to say. Don't go by what everybody else saying. The world just say what they want to say anyway. And they make it seem right. They make it sound good. But when you pray about it and let God lead you, God will give you what to say, how to say it, when to say it, what not to say. Stop letting people put words in your mouth. You ain't got to say Black Lives Matter. You can say black people matter. You go do your research and see who the leaders of this Black Lives Matter. And y'all black people out there, I'm talking to y'all. I'm really talking to y'all tonight. Go do your research. Go do your research. And you'll find out that you've been bamboozled. You've been hijacked. Because there's no change coming. Nobody even talking about giving anything to black people. Nobody even talking about doing anything. Marching. You see some of the people that's marching with you go right back to their homes out in Grand Blanc. Ain't thinking about doing nothing. They just want you to see, I'm marching with you. That's nice. Let's march. But ain't no change coming. Because it's another agenda behind what's going on. More and more of us getting killed. Lying in the streets like dogs. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. It's getting late. It's getting late. It's getting late. The hour is upon us. And Satan is launching his final go-round. And the Bible said he's going to cause some to take the mark. He's going to cause some. He's not going to tell you, I'm here, take this mark. He's going to cause. In other words, he's going to deceive you into following something that you had no idea that it was not of God. You're going to think this is right. You're going to think this is good. And then you're going to find out in the end. Just like Satan did the angels. He caused them to lose their position in heaven. They were in the greatest place you could be in, but they got deceived by Satan and lost their position. The Bible said he would even fool the very elect, people that you wouldn't think he would fool. There's going to be people that's getting fooled by this Black Lives Matter that you wouldn't even think. Wake up, y'all. We don't have to just do anything, but let's do our research. I'm speaking to y'all. I'm giving y'all what God gave me tonight. I'm just sharing with what God gave me to give to you tonight. Now, you can take it and say, no, he's trying to break us up. He's trying to do something different. I ain't trying to lead nothing that God don't tell me to lead. I'm not trying to be Malcolm X. I'm not trying to be Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm not trying to be, some of these other black leaders. But I do want our people to open their eyes to know that this is a time that's very sensitive. And people want to hijack our movement, our protests. Don't let them do it. Don't let these people do it. Don't let the LGBT do it. Call them out. We're not supporting that. If you're going to hold your sign up, hold your sign up. Black people matter. I'm different from LGBT. Put that on your sign. I'm not out here for them. I'm out here for us. Let people know you don't support that. Even if you do think it's okay, it's not a time for that right now. I'm not here to argue what your belief is. God said it's wrong. So I know it's wrong, but those of you that want to subscribe and say, let them just live their life, they're not bothering anybody, they're bothering God because God made them. He created them. Let the maker of a thing define that thing. Let the maker that created that thing, that defined that thing, say and define and what that thing is. If God created, he got the right to say what it is. You can't define me because God created me. Let him define me. Hallelujah. I'm wound up right now because I hate to see people being taken advantage of. I hate to see people being misused. I hate to see people that really don't know. And I got a heart for people. I got a heart for people. God put it in me, a heart for people, that I love people. And I hate to see people being taken advantage of. I hate to see it. I hate to see what's going on with our black men, that they won't stand up. That we got to have women. We ought to be leading our women. We ought to be leading our women out in the street. Not our women leading us. Our women can be right on the side of us. helping us with the gift that God is. We don't know how God created them. Women, y'all so special. God put us in a deep sleep. We wasn't even woke when God made y'all. All we know is that the Bible said he took a rib out our side. We don't know what else happened. But they have a gift, a spiritual gift. That's why you always see more women in the church than men, because women has a spiritual side to them that's enhanced, that they can feel things. And the devil knows that. That's why he uses women a lot of time. That's why he came to Eve and he didn't go to Adam, because he knew Eve can hear him. She had a spiritual side to her that was given to her, that was enhanced, because God wanted her to be a help to Adam. So she had to have something that Adam didn't have. She had to have more of something that Adam didn't have. That's why she was able to hear the snake. That's why she was able to hear the serpent. Adam was somewhere else, maybe right next to her, and didn't even hear the snake. But Eve heard him. And if we don't cover our women, the snake can get to our women more quicker than he can to us, and we don't know what's going on. But we got to stand up as black men and lead. We got to stand up as black men and lead. And I ain't say lead in a dictatorial way, or leading like our women, because the Bible says they are the weaker vessel. You define that word weaker, it don't mean like less than. It meant fragile. It meant you got to take care of it. It's precious. Everything that's fragile, it says handle with care. That means there's something special in that box, something sensitive in that box. That it can be beautiful. It could be something that's valuable. But we got to lead as men. I'm getting off of here. I was on here longer than what I anticipated, but kind of got upset because I seen this going on, and then I seen somebody else talking about something, and they was completely lost on it. I shared something, and then somebody took it and kind of ran with it and just messed it all up. And I said, Lord, let me go on here, correct what you gave me, because somebody go and jack it all up. Some people mess it up, y'all. Some people will take what God gave you, an idea you have, and mess it all up, running with it, trying to hurry up and run with something that they didn't pray about. But I thank God for you. Thank God for all of you that tapped in tonight. Man, I thank God for you. Y'all stay encouraged. Understand the devil is launching his last go-round. He's trying to take as many people with him to hell as he can. And once you get in hell, you can't get out. There's no exit door. That's why it's important for us to have messengers. God send us messengers to wake us up, that we don't follow any and everything. We need more true men of God, more true women of God that will speak up and not afraid. That's not on here trying to get everybody to come look at what I'm saying. I see people on here all the time, just on here, just eating food, just looking at the camera on live. I don't want to see you eat. I don't want to see you just, if you got something good to say it. If you don't, get off the live. Let somebody else talk. You clouding up, taking up somebody else's time. And I don't want to see you on here, shaking your butt. Man, go to the club if you need to shake your butt. On here, I want to hear somebody saying something good. I want to hear something that's beneficial. I can see somebody shaking their butt on TV. And I don't want to hear about everybody's business. Some people are busybodies. Man, I don't want to hear all your business on here. If you ain't got nothing else to say that's beneficial, that's uplifting, that's truthful, then you ain't got to come on live all the time that you just get an unction, or you just want some, you lonely. Pray, go read your Bible. You ain't got to come on live every time you want somebody to see you. You want somebody to approve of you. And they need to start charging people. I start charging. Every time you go live, $25. And that stop people from just coming on here from any other thing, any old thing. I'm just coming on here. Y'all watch me. Look what I'm cooking. I don't want to see you cooking unless you got a plate for me. Y'all pray for me. Man, it's my desire. I want to see people helped. That's my desire. I want to see people healed. I want to see people delivered. I want to see people set free. I want to see black people standing up for what's right, not falling for the okie doke, not falling for the bait and switch, not doing all of this, and then we find out in the end we were supporting somebody else. I love y'all. Stay encouraged. God be with you. There's going to come a time when the real true messengers, God is going to stop them from speaking. There's coming a time where y'all keep ignoring, y'all keep heaping in yourself. These people that's talking good, that's all they talking about is prosperity. All they talking about is you going to get a blessing, all your harvest, your season, your destiny, your purpose. God, there's going to come a time where if that's all you want to hear, God's going to say, okay, I'm going to pull back my messengers. And you won't hear the truth. You'll just hear things you want to hear. You keep on rejecting these messengers that's coming on telling you to wake up. You keep rejecting them. God is going to pull them. God's going to silence them. God is going to pull them back. That they will no longer be speaking anything. And when God stopped the mouths of his messenger, God stopped speaking. You think we're in trouble now? Let God stop speaking. Y'all think we're in trouble now? Let God stop. I love every one of y'all. Stay encouraged. Did not intend to be on here this long, but I'm praying for everyone of y'all. Stop this Black Lives Matter. Black people matter. Black people matter. I'm not supporting some other agenda. Black people matter, and they matter to God. It was a black man that helped Jesus carry the cross up to Calvary. And let's keep it in focus, y'all, that we matter. That don't mean somebody else less than us. That means we matter. All people matter to God, but at this time we want the world to know black people, they matter. And not lesbian and homosexuals and transvestites and drag queens. Those are people that made their choice for a lifestyle. They made a choice for their lifestyle. Stay encouraged. God be with y'all. Stay encouraged till we meet again.